What if getting rich had nothing to do with making more money, and everything to do with becoming invisible? I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. I know a guy worth $4 million, drives a 2008 Corolla, wears Costco jeans, cuts his own hair, his neighbors think he's broke. That's exactly how he wants it. Meanwhile, the Instagram millionaire with the rented Lamborghini and designer everything? 3 months from bankruptcy. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. The loudest wealth is usually fake. Real millionaires are ghosts. They walk past you every single day, and you'd never know. Today, I'm giving you the exact minimalist money formula that builds wealth in silence, while everyone else is performing success and going broke. This isn't about deprivation or living in your parents' basement. This is about invisibility. And the people who master it, they retire at 45 while everyone else works until they die. If you're tired of the look rich, be broke culture, smash that subscribe button and comment quiet wealth right now. Because the first principle, it's gonna offend a lot of people. Principle number 1, subtract before you add, the anti-accumulation mindset. Here's where everything you've been taught about success gets flipped upside down. Society's been programming you since birth. More is better. Bigger is better. Accumulate. Upgrade. Expand. Get the bigger house, more clothes, extra subscriptions, another streaming service, and that gym membership you'll use twice. We're drowning in stuff we don't need, bought with money we don't have, to impress people we don't like. And we call this success. Meanwhile, the actual wealthy people, they're doing the exact opposite. They're subtracting, eliminating, removing. They're playing a completely different game. Let me tell you about Seneca, this ancient Roman philosopher who was ridiculously wealthy. He said something that should be tattooed on everyone's forehead. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Not no wants, few wants. There's a massive difference. He wasn't advocating poverty. He was advocating clarity. Then there's Diogenes, who took this to the extreme. This guy literally lived in a barrel. When Alexander the Great, the most powerful man on earth, came to visit him and asked what he could do for him, Diogenes said, "Yeah, could you move? You're blocking my sunlight." That's the ultimate power move. When you want nothing, nobody can control you. Now, I'm not saying go live in a barrel, but here's what wealthy minimalists understand. Every single thing you own costs you something. It costs money to buy, space to store, time to maintain, mental energy to manage, and most of it, you don't even use. Here's your assignment, and it's going to be uncomfortable. Do a 30-day inventory. Walk through your house and list everything you haven't touched in the past 30 days. Your closet is full of clothes with tags still on. That treadmill that's now a coat rack. Those kitchen gadgets are gathering dust. That gym membership auto-charges every month. Those subscriptions you forgot you have. There's this beautiful story about a monk who owned only one bowl. He used it for everything, eating, drinking, washing. Someone asked him, "Don't you want more?" He smiled and said, "Every possession I own owns a piece of me. This bowl is enough." That hit me hard, because he's right. We think we own our stuff, but our stuff owns us. Start subtracting before you add another thing to your life. The space you create isn't empty, it's freedom. But that's just the obvious part. What I'm about to say is what makes the difference between someone who declutters their garage and someone who actually builds wealth while doing it. Because here's the secret wealthy people know about money that changes everything. Principle number 2, the invisible income strategy. Okay, this is the one that separates people who stay broke from people who quietly become millionaires. Pay attention, you get a raise. What happens? You celebrate, right? Tell your friends. Upgrade your car, move to a nicer apartment, eat out more. Within 3 months, you're wondering where all that extra money went. Congratulations, you just fell into the lifestyle inflation trap. Your income went up, but so did your expenses. Your net worth? Still zero. Now watch what wealthy people do. They get a raise and nobody knows. Their lifestyle doesn't change, not one bit. That entire raise, ghost, vanished. went straight into investments before they ever saw it. It's like it never existed. And that invisible money? That's what makes them millionaires. There's this Jewish teaching I love: don't count your money where others can see. It's not about being secretive or weird. It's about understanding that the moment people see your wealth, they have expectations. And expectations cost you money. Your lifestyle starts inflating not because you want it to, but because people expect it to. Remember the parable of the talents? The guy who buried his money in the ground got destroyed. But here's what people miss. The successful servants didn't spend their money either. They invested it quietly. They put it to work where nobody could see it. That's the move. Invisible investing beats visible spending every single time. Here's how you implement this starting today. Create what I call a ghost account. It's a separate investment account that's not connected to your checking. Set up automatic transfers. Every raise you get, 100% goes to the ghost account before you see it. Bonus at work? Ghost account. Tax refund? Ghost account. Side hustle income? You guessed it, ghost account. That money is dead to your lifestyle. It doesn't exist for spending. It only exists for growing. Let me tell you why this works. The gap between what you earn and what you spend, that gap right there, that's where wealth lives. Poor people have no gap. They spend everything they make, sometimes more. Middle-class people have a tiny gap that keeps getting closed by lifestyle inflation. Wealthy people, they widen that gap intentionally and protect it like it's sacred. Your lifestyle should be based on the minimum you need to be happy, not the maximum you can afford. Everything above that minimum, that's your wealth-building machine. Keep it invisible, keep it working, keep it quiet. And speaking of keeping things quiet, this next principle is going to blow your mind, because it's about how to control the one thing that destroys most people's finances before they even realize what's happening. Principle number 3, the 1 in 1 out rule, consumption rule. All right, let's talk about something that's going to sting a little. You know that feeling when you're scrolling Amazon at 11 p.m. and suddenly you need a new blender, even though you have 2 in the cabinet? Or you're at Target just browsing and leave with $200 worth of stuff you didn't know existed 10 minutes ago? Yeah, we need to fix that. Here's the rule that changed my financial life. 1 in, 1 out. You want to buy something new? Fine. But something old has to leave. Want that new jacket? Which jacket in your closet are you donating? Want that new kitchen gadget? Which one are you throwing away? This isn't about deprivation. It's about intention. Benjamin Franklin said, "A place for everything. Everything in its place." But here's what he really meant. If you don't have a place for something, you don't need it. And if you're constantly buying new things without letting go of old things, you're not shopping. You're hoarding with a credit card. Buddhism teaches non-attachment for a reason. Every item you own creates a psychological burden. You have to store it, clean it, maintain it, move it, insure it, worry about it. And here's the kicker. Most of the stuff in your house you don't even remember buying. It's just there, taking up space, taking up energy, taking up money. Here's your practical application. Before you buy anything, and I mean anything, you have to identify what it's replacing. New pair of shoes. Which shoes are leaving? New book. Which book are you donating? Can't identify what it replaces? Then you don't buy it. Period. This one rule will save you thousands of dollars a year because it forces you to ask, do I actually need this? Or do I just want the dopamine hit of buying something? Let me tell you a quick story. There was a woman who lived in a tiny apartment with just 100 possessions. Everything she owned fit in 2 suitcases. People thought she was crazy, but she was worth $2 million. Someone asked her how. She said, every dollar I didn't spend on stuff I didn't need went into investments I did need. True wealth isn't needing more, it needs less. Start today, 1 in, 1 out. Watch your space clear, watch your mind clear, watch your bank account grow. And what I'm about to say is what makes the difference. Because while everyone's trying to buy convenience, wealthy people are playing a completely different game that saves them thousands without even trying. Principle number 4. Optimize for time, not convenience. Here's something that's going to make people uncomfortable. That DoorDash order you just placed because you didn't feel like cooking. That $18 meal just cost you $35 after fees and tip. You could have made the same meal for $5 and it would have taken 20 minutes. You just paid $30 for 20 minutes of convenience. That's $90 an hour you're bleeding. Is your time really worth $90 an hour to avoid cooking? For most people, no. But we've been sold this lie that convenience equals success. Amazon Prime same-day delivery, meal kits, grocery delivery, Uber everywhere. And look, I get it, time is valuable. But here's what wealthy minimalists understand. Convenience is expensive, but intention is free. Thoreau went to Walden Pond and wrote an entire book about living deliberately. Not accidentally, not reactively, deliberately. He wasn't anti-convenience, he was anti-sleepwalking. Most people are sleepwalking through their finances, letting convenience drain their wealth $15 at a time. Here's the shift. Instead of optimizing for convenience, optimize for time. What's the difference? Convenience is reactive. I'm hungry now, order food now. Time optimization is proactive. I meal prep on Sunday, eat all week for $30 total. Convenience is Uber to work every day for $15 each way. Time optimization is batching all your errands on Saturday, so you make one trip instead of 5. Let me give you the math that should wake you up. Calculate your hourly worth. If you make $50,000 a year, working 2,000 hours, that's $25 an hour. Now look at your convenience spending. Is that $15 DoorDash fee worth 36 minutes of your actual work time? Is that $40 Uber ride worth 96 minutes of your labor? When you frame it this way, suddenly convenience looks a lot less convenient. Here's your action step. For 1 week, track every convenience purchase and calculate how many hours of work it costs you. Be honest. That $8 coffee? 20 minutes of work. That $25 Uber? An hour of work. That $100 meal delivery habit per week? 4 hours of work every single week. That's 208 hours a year, over 5 full work weeks spent on convenience. Wealthy people batch. They do meal prep. They plan errands. They think ahead. Not because they're cheap, because they value their wealth more than they value avoiding 20 minutes of effort. Convenience is a luxury. Intention is a strategy. Choose wisely. You think you've understood everything? There's a detail that few people notice, but it's extremely important. Because this next principle is what kills more wealth dreams than anything else, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. Principle number 5, the 72-hour rule. Kill impulse, build wealth. Let's be brutally honest for a second. How many times have you bought something, felt amazing for about 6 minutes, then wondered why you needed it? I'm talking about that thing sitting in your closet with tags still on. Or that gadget in your drawer you've used once. Or that subscription service you forgot you had until you saw it on your credit card statement. Here's what's happening. Your brain is being hacked by a $500 billion advertising industry that studied psychology better than most psychologists. They figured out that if they can get you to buy now, right this second, before you think, they win. So everything's limited time offer. Only 3 left in stock. Sale ends tonight. It's all designed to trigger your fear of missing out and shut down your rational brain. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, wrote about this 2,000 years ago. He practiced delayed gratification as a discipline. Not because he couldn't afford things, he could buy literally anything on earth, but because he understood that wanting something and needing something are completely different. Most of what we buy, we only want for about 72 hours. Then, the desire evaporates. Jewish tradition has built-in waiting periods for major life decisions. They don't rush. They sit with things. They let emotion cool and logic take over. Because they've learned over thousands of years that impulse ruins people financially. Here's your new rule, and it's going to save you thousands. See something you want? Take a screenshot. Save it. Wait 72 hours. If after 3 full days you still want it and you can afford it without touching your investment accounts or emergency fund, buy it guilt-free. But here's what happens 80% of the time. You forget about it. You realize you don't actually need it. The desire was manufactured by marketing, not genuine. I started doing this 2 years ago. You know how much money I've saved? Over $8,000. Just by waiting 3 days. $8,000 is now in my investment account, growing instead of sitting in my garage collecting dust. Here's the truth that should change how you think about money forever. Patience compounds just like interest. The longer you can delay purchasing, the richer you become. Not because you're depriving yourself, because you're being intentional. There's a massive difference between I can't have that and I'm choosing not to have that right now. One's poverty, the other's power. Wait, there's something you need to pay attention to if you don't want to lose everything. Because while everyone's celebrating their success publicly, wealthy people are doing something completely opposite, and it's the real reason they stay rich. Principle number 6, the stealth savings method. No one knows you're rich. Here's a story that's going to blow your mind and maybe make you rethink everything. Ronald Reed was a janitor and gas station attendant in Vermont. Wore the same old coat for years. Drove a beat-up car. Lived in a tiny house. Everybody in town thought he was just getting by. When he died at 92, people were shocked to discover he'd left behind an $8 million fortune. $8 million. Nobody, and I mean nobody, had any clue. Meanwhile, your coworker who just got promoted is already posting pictures of their new BMW. Your neighbor got a bonus and suddenly they're vacationing in Cabo, living my best life on Instagram. And in 5 years, Ronald Reed's wealth grew. Theirs disappeared. Because here's what they don't understand. The moment you show your wealth, you start bleeding it. Social pressure is a silent wealth killer. You get a raise, people expect you to celebrate. New car, nice dinner, round of drinks, upgrade your apartment. And you do it because not doing it feels weird. But wealthy people have mastered the art of invisibility. They get the raise and their lifestyle doesn't budge, not 1 inch. That money vanishes into automated investment accounts they barely look at. Out of sight, out of mind, compounding silently. There's this beautiful saying, the richest person is the one nobody suspects. And it's true. Real wealth whispers, fake wealth screams. The loudest person in the room is usually the brokest. Here's your tactical move. Set up what I call stealth savings. Every time money comes in that's above your baseline, raise, bonus, side hustle, gift, tax refund, it automatically transfers to an investment account before you even see it. Not tomorrow, not when you get around to it. Automatically, same day, gone. You never had it as far as your lifestyle is concerned. I know someone worth $3 million. They drive a 2010 Honda, live in a modest 3-bedroom, wear clothes from Target. Their neighbors assume they're barely making it, and that's exactly how they want it. Because the moment you look rich, people start expecting things. The family asks for loans, friends want you to pick up checks, lifestyle expectations creep up. Your wealth starts evaporating through 1,000 tiny social pressures. Keep your wealth invisible. Automate your investing. Don't announce promotions. Don't celebrate bonuses publicly. Let your bank account grow in silence while everyone else is performing success and going broke. The richest person at the table is usually the one nobody's paying attention to. Do you know someone living way below their means? They might be secretly loaded. Now, and it's in the next section that many people make mistakes without even knowing it, because what I'm about to reveal changes the entire game. Principle number 7. The quality over quantity paradox. Okay, here's something that's going to sound backwards at first, but stick with me because this one principle can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Poor people buy cheap stuff repeatedly. Wealthy people buy expensive stuff once. Let me explain with a story that nails this perfectly. There's this thing called the Sam Vimes boots theory from Terry Pratchett. A poor man buys $10 boots that fall apart in a year, so he buys another pair and another. Over 10 years, he has spent $100 on boots, and his feet are always wet. A rich man buys $100 boots that last 10 years, same time frame. The rich man spent $100 total. The poor man spent $100 and still has bad boots. See the trap? We've been trained to hunt for deals, buy cheap, and save money up front. But here's what Warren Buffett understands that broke people don't. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. Cheap isn't cheap if you have to replace it constantly. Expensive isn't expensive if it lasts forever. Here's the shift wealthy minimalists make. They buy less, but they buy better. One $200 winter coat that lasts 15 years instead of 10 $20 coats that last 1 year each. One quality chef's knife for $150 instead of a drawer full of $15 knives that can't cut butter. One solid desk chair for $500 that supports your back for a decade instead of $500 chairs from Target that break and hurt your spine. Now here's your homework, and this is critical. Before you buy anything, calculate cost per use. That $300 pair of boots you'll wear 200 times a year for 5 years? That's 1,000 uses, 30 cents per wear. That $30 pair you'll wear 20 times before they fall apart? $1.50 per wear. The expensive boots are actually 5 times cheaper. This completely changed how I shop. I stopped asking, what's the cheapest option, and started asking, what's the best value over time. My closet got smaller, my quality of life got better. My bank account grew because I stopped replacing garbage every few months. Minimalism isn't about being cheap, it's about being strategic. Buy less, buy better, buy once. The math doesn't lie, quality wins every single time. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people, because I'm about to show you the exact math that changes everything. The formula that tells you precisely when you're free. Principle number 8, the freedom formula. The math that changes everything. Alright, sit down for this one because I'm about to give you the formula that changes your entire relationship with money. Ready? Financial freedom equals annual expenses times 25. That's it. That's the whole game. If you spend $40,000 a year, you need $1 million to be financially free. If you spend $60,000 a year, you need $1.5 million. If you spend $30,000 a year, you only need $750,000. You following me here? The less you spend, the faster you're free. This comes from something called the Trinity study and the 4% rule. Basically, if you have 25 times your annual expenses invested, you can withdraw 4% per year and never run out of money. It's been tested, it works. This is how people retire early. This is the math that millionaires use that broke people never learn. Here's where it gets insane. Most people work for 40 years trying to accumulate wealth while their expenses keep climbing. So they're chasing a moving target. They make more, spend more, and the finish line keeps moving further away. They're on a treadmill going nowhere. But watch what happens when you flip it. A minimalist making $75,000 a year but living on $40,000, they're saving $35,000 annually. At a 10% return, they hit their freedom number in about 15 years. 15 years to never have to work again. Meanwhile, their coworker is making the same $75,000 but spending $70,000. They're saving $5,000 a year. They'll be working for 40 plus years. Same income, completely different lives. Here's your assignment, and do this today. Track your expenses for the last 3 months. Calculate your average monthly spending. Multiply by 12. That's your annual number. Now multiply that by 25. That's your freedom number. That's the amount of money you need invested to walk away from your job forever. For most people, this number is shockingly achievable when they realize the equation works both ways. You can either make more money or spend less money. But spending less is 100% in your control right now. Making more takes time, luck, and skills. Spending less, you can do that today. Here's the beautiful truth that should set you free. The less you need to be happy, the faster you're free. Every dollar you cut from your lifestyle is one less dollar you need to earn forever. Minimalism doesn't just save money, it accelerates retirement by decades. The math is simple. Your freedom is closer than you think. Wait, the most important part is in the following story, because this final principle It's the one that ties everything together and reveals why being unnoticed is actually your greatest advantage. Principle number 9, the invisibility advantage. Why being unnoticed is your superpower. Here's the final principle, and honestly, this is the one that separates people who understand wealth from people who just perform it. Everyone wants to be seen, celebrated, validated. We're living in a world where people film themselves giving money to homeless people for likes, where success isn't real until it's posted, where your accomplishments don't count unless strangers on the internet acknowledge them. And this addiction to visibility, it's costing people millions. There's a parable Jesus told about a Pharisee and a tax collector. The Pharisee prays loudly in public, making sure everyone sees his devotion. The tax collector prays quietly in the corner. Jesus says the quiet one went home justified. The lesson? Public displays of righteousness are about ego, not God. The same principle applies to wealth. Public displays of success are about insecurity, not security. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, asked a question that should haunt you. Are you seeking approval or seeking truth? Because you can't have both. The moment you start making financial decisions to impress others, you've lost. You're spending money you could be investing just to get validation from people whose opinions literally don't matter. Here's what I've learned watching people build and lose fortunes. The psychology of keeping up with the Joneses is a silent wealth assassin. Your neighbor buys a boat. Now you feel pressure to buy a boat. Your coworker leases a BMW. Now your paid-off Honda feels inadequate. Your friend posts vacation photos from Italy. Now you feel like you're falling behind. But here's the truth. None of those people are wealthy. They're performing wealth, and performance is expensive. I know a couple worth $6 million. They live in a 1,400 square foot house, drive a 12-year-old Camry nobody knows. Their neighbor across the street, Mercedes, is in the driveway, constantly renovating, designing everything. Everyone assumes they're loaded. They're $400,000 in debt. One couple is invisible and free. The other is visible and trapped. Here's your 4-step invisibility protocol. 1. Never discuss income, net worth, or investments with anyone except your spouse and financial advisor. 2. Decline lifestyle upgrades even when you can easily afford them. 3. Practice the boring answer. When people ask how you're doing financially, say, "We're doing okay," keeping it simple. 4. Celebrate wins privately. Journal them. Don't post them. There's an old story about a farmer who quietly bought land for decades while his neighbors bought new tractors and trucks. When he died, he owned half the county. Nobody saw it coming. That's the move. Your net worth is nobody's business. Keep it invisible, keep it growing, keep it quiet. So there you have it. 9 principles to get rich without anyone noticing. Not deprivation. Strategy. Here's the math that should wake you up. Average person making $75,000, spending $70,000, saves $5,000 a year, takes 40 years to hit freedom. Minimalist making $75,000, spending $45,000, invests $30,000 annually at 10% return, hits $480,000 in just 10 years. Same income. Completely different life. Pick one principle from this video. Just one. Apply it for 30 days. Watch your bank account whisper louder than anyone's Instagram ever could. Comment "Invisible Wealth" if you're ready to stop performing success and start building it in silence. And smash that subscribe button, because next week I'm revealing the 7 things invisible millionaires actually spend money on that broke people think are ridiculous. Want to know where stealth millionaires invest their money? Let me know in the comments. Remember this: real wealth doesn't announce itself. It accumulates in silence while everyone else performs for an audience that doesn't pay their bills. Be the ghost millionaire. The world celebrates those who look rich. Your bank account celebrates those who stay invisible.